Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome wherever you are in the world, and thank you for joining us. We are live at the Scottsdale Center for the Performing Arts for the inaugural U.S. InCabin event. My name is Carl Anthony, founder and editor of AutoVision News, and a longtime and proud partner of Sense Media, the organizers of both the AutoSense and InCabin conference. We welcome today Modar Alaoui, the founder and CEO of Eyeris. Modar is an AI expert technologist and a leading figure in computer vision AI for human behavior understanding, modeling, and prediction. His work focuses on bridging human-machine interface interaction with predictive invisible interfaces through body, face, object, and interior scene understanding AI. Modar has been featured on Bloomberg, CNBC, The Wall Street Journal, Reuters, Wired, Fast Company, and many other major international media publications, spanning over 12 languages for his ongoing work. Modar, it's a pleasure to welcome you back. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much for having me, Carl.
So when we last spoke in Brussels at InCabin and we did this, Eyeris had made a big announcement, and you had announced your latest monocular 3D sensing AI software solution. And in that press release, you mentioned that you are providing automotive OEMs and tier ones with robust, depth-aware, that was key, depth-aware 3D data using 2D image sensors. Before we get into your big announcements here, let's recap that announcement back in September.
Certainly, Carl. So we announced the world's first monocular in-cabin 3D sensing AI, which basically provides depth information for every single feature that we provide for understanding the in-cabin space, including 3D face, 3D body, 3D gaze, and 3D hand. And so at that time when we made the announcement, we did not announce on which processors we run our monocular 3D pipeline or portfolio of neural networks. And so we've made a little bit of a progress on that front, and so we can talk about that in a little bit with regards to the recent announcements we made.
And with recent announcements, huge week for you on the newswire. Two big announcements, one with OmniVision, one with Indie Semiconductor. Let's start with OmniVision. Tell us about the developments there.
We've worked with OmniVision for a long time, and honestly, we could not have hoped for a better timing than this week. Initially, we wanted to work on their 5 megapixel global shutter 2D RGB-IR sensor. And so it's been out for a while now, a little over a year, but that was cool and great, and it's a great product. It did not have that much differentiation for us. As a software company, we get to work with a lot of image sensor companies that you could imagine. And so what we announced today is not only working with them on their 5 megapixel integration for the image sensor, but also integrating our portfolio of monocular 3D sensing onto their ISP. So that is the image sensor's image signal processor, which offers up to 2 TOPS of throughput in order to process our monocular 3D. And so we did that with great success, and we announced it yesterday.
Yeah. And then now another announcement to follow that one with Indie Semiconductor. What's the latest there?
Similarly, so Indie Semiconductor just acquired recently GeoSemi, which is one of the leading video processing companies for automotive in the world. And so we started working with Geo for a long time, similar to OmniVision. And so just as the transaction has recently closed for them a couple of weeks ago, we were initially targeting to make an announcement between Eyeris and GeoSemi. And the announcement again is integration of 3D monocular sensing inside GeoSemi's ISP. It offers also somewhere in the range of 2.5 TOPS, which is plenty for us to run our portfolio of monocular 3D. Of course, now as part of Indie can offer additional advantages. It's a much larger company with much broader vision processing portfolio. And so we ended up doing the announcement with Indy, but just to kind of give a background there,
Sure.
everything stemmed from our work with Geo.
Right. Modar, when we have these in-cabin events and we cover the latest news with Eyeris, one thing I always enjoy, and I'll quote exactly for our viewers, with Eyeris, it's about 3D features using a single 2D image sensor. Modar, I know we've talked about it before, but let's come back to this. 3D features using a single 2D image sensor. What is that, and why is that important?
So the world is in 3D. The way InCabin today is being understood is in 2D, unfortunately. That wasn't satisfying for us as an innovative company, software company, but that also wasn't satisfying to OEMs. So we see an increase in demand for 3D features from OEMs, yet they wanted to use the same 2D image sensor that they already have inside the vehicle, obviously for various reasons, for costs, for form factor, for number of other things. And so we started a small R&D research within the company a little over 2 years ago. We wanted to compare what's available in academia versus what's being demanded in industry. And so we put together, I want to call it a proprietary neural network based technology that can apply to any type of feature within the vehicle, whether to human behavior understanding through face, body, gaze, and hands, or through surface classification and understanding within the vehicle, or through object understanding within the vehicle. Regardless of what we need to understand inside the in-cabin space, we can understand it with 3D, depth-aware information, although we can use only a single 2D image sensor. So you may ask how we were able to do it initially.
Yeah.
A lot of it has to do with the Eyeris data bank. It's our proprietary data sets.
Sure.
We believe it is the world's largest data sets today. It's a little over 1 billion images as of recently. And so that data enables us to not only annotate the information that we need and create ground truth in 2D, but also in 3D. We do have proprietary AI tools for for data annotation and data collection. And we also have created our own way of synchronizing 2D data with other 3D type sensors. They're not all 3D cameras or 3D image sensors, but they are 3D sensors that can give us that information or that additional depth-aware information for us to train efficiently our neural networks. And so the processing now occurs not just on standard traditional automotive grade processors that you would know, but rather on the actual image sensors ISP itself. And we believe that's a big achievement.
Modar, the work that you do is so cool. In a huge week, congratulations on both those announcements with OmniVision and Indy Semiconductor. What's on the horizon? What's next for Eyeris as you go forward?
The world is in 3D. We're going to capitalize on what we've just built for 3D. Monocular 3D is here to stay. And we truly believe that similar to external perception, there is going to be a sensor fusion to everything. We do have a sensor fusion engine that leverages camera and other sensors for better understanding of the in-cabin space to enhance safety and comfort and convenience as well.
Right.
But on top of that, we truly believe that running efficient AI inside the car is also critical. And so if I were to summarize it, capitalizing on our monocular 3D sensing capabilities,
Sure.
and running it on ISPs and other type of silicon. And that's kind of what I expect for us to work on in the near future.
Modar, man, I always love talking to you. From all of us here at AutoVision News and InCabin, thank you for sharing your expertise and thought leadership. Wish you safe travels back home, and let's do this again sometime soon. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much for having me, Carl. Cheers.
More to come from InCabin Phoenix here on the AutoVision News LinkedIn page. From the Scottsdale Center for the Performing Arts, I'm Carl Anthony, AutoVision News.